Rise and shine, wild ones. It's Bernadette King. I am here with your Pick a Card Daily Tarot reading for Saturday, September 26th. Woo, Saturdays. It is, who doesn't love a Saturday? It's the third eye chakra. We get to take time while we're doing everything, getting prepared, caught up from the week, getting ready to head into the next week, getting all the loose ends done. It can be a time of great meditation as you kind of go through all those things like an active meditation. And the ruling planet is Saturn, which is it's the taskmaster. It's let's get it done, let's move. It's a little bit like Tuesday, but maybe even a little more amped up because Tuesday is usually about work, but this is about usually your life. And I just really love that the Oyster card came out for today, this Saturday, and I'll tell you why. Way earlier in the week, when we started on Monday, I shared with you guys that intuitively I'd been being told by the animal allies that we are really, we've turned a corner all over the world, and that all of the panicky energies, the pandemic energies and whatnot, that is really falling by the wayside quite a bit, and we're moving into a time of peace, and things are changing for the better. And we've been under so much pressure that it's just been a little crazy. And what comes out of the pressure from an oyster? A pearl, y'all. See the pearl right up in there? Lustrous and beautiful and iridescent, all the colors of the rainbow, smooth and perfectly spherical. And that sphere is about all the beautiful, lustrous, colorful energy being sent out equally in all the all the directions of a sphere. That's what sphere symbolism is all about. And so on this Saturday, having the oyster come to you lets you know that no matter what you're doing, no matter what you're trying to accomplish, no matter what kind of pressure you've been under, it's your time. It's your time to shine. And it's interesting because the oyster actually came out for me when I started the daily readings way back in May. And I had just had, that was the start of the COVID and the pandemic, and we were moving into it pretty heavily, and the world was freaking out like it was just the first vestiges of it. And I flipped over to Facebook like a schmuck, and feed after feed after feed of doom and gloom, and oh my God. And this card came up. So when I asked Spirit I asked the animal allies, what do you want me to tell them? They said, look, tell them what it is. It's short and sweet. Yeah, everything looks like big hammered poopy now, but at the end of the day, the world is their oyster. Anything that's possible can still be theirs. Any kind of creative growth, positive change that they want to make can still be there, because what it shows you is that precious, beautiful, radiant perfection that is a really high quality, not man-made, but real oyster or real pearl. It comes from patience over time. You've just got to have the patience. You've got to work like an oyster does. They've got that really hard outer shell that allows them to endure the harshest circumstances, the harshest environments, while inside they're creating such a thing of beauty that all of the irritations, all of the setbacks, all of the scary encounters, they're still embracing the tides, they're still embracing the change. And alchemically, what's happening inside of you that's now going to affect your outside world is you're creating a pearl. You might be becoming the pearl. You might be helping your children turn into pearls. You might be turning a business into a pearl. You might be turning a love affair. The list goes on and on and on. But at the end of the day, it's becoming the most lustrous, iridescent, radiant, beautiful pearl it ever could be. So the other thing that, pardon me, y'all, that Oyster is telling you is that on this Saturday, it is definitely important. This is, gosh, you know what? This is like the fourth or fifth water element creature to come out this week. I just realized that. Holy cow, this whole week has been all about the emotions. Wowzers, wowzers, wowzers. Okay, so as you're going through your get it done day, your catch up on things day, everything that a Saturday brings. And again, I mentioned a little bit earlier about how it can be a bit of an active meditation. You can just, you get in the rhythm of doing the dishes, you get in the rhythm of doing laundry, you get in the rhythm of vacuuming or whatever. And it really does kind of lull you into that rhythm where you just let your mind wander. You let it empty and you start thinking of things that maybe you hadn't thunk of but needed to thunk of. And it's really a good time to think about transformations. Oysters do this naturally. The pearls develop in them naturally. And I'm being told by the animal allies that those of you that are listening to this today, those of you that are watching this video, and thank you very much, by the way, for tuning in, you probably are people that overthink, or even if that's not your natural state, maybe you're going through a time where you're overthinking. And don't overthink it. Just let your mind dump out. Let all that stuff go out into Mama Ocean. Let the waves carry it away. Maybe make yourself a pina colada, put on some Jimmy Buffett, maybe get some island music cooking up in there. Go buy a coconut, put on a coconut bra, whatever you got to do. Get some beach up in your step, right? Get some sand between your toes. And let those ideas, let those transformations just come to you naturally. You may have something come to you that maybe you've been a little irritated at work. Maybe you've been a little irritated within the family, with friends, and you just don't know why. You're like, I know something needs to change. I just don't know what. And all of a sudden, like when you go to the beach and get whacked upside the head by a big old wave, right? You're like, oh, could have had a V8, right? And so just let that come in and just focus on an oyster when you do that. Now, interestingly, oysters come in clusters, right? And this particular card is in the prehistoric and mythological expansion pack of my Arc Tarot, which is what I read for you guys with, is my award-winning Animal Arc Tarot. It's based on the Rider-Waite system, but it brings all of the greatness of the animal ally energy and medicine into it, which gives the most unbelievably in-depth and accurate readings of the miracles that happen. It's crazy. So in the prehistoric and mythological expansion deck for the Arc, that was put in there because, the animal allies are like, look, for decades, really kind of since the 70s, and the whole metaphysical thing really exploded and all the indigenous teachings started to come to light in more mainstream way, and all the ancient ways started to be more accepted by, societies really all over the world, but certainly here in America, because we come from such Puritan backgrounds, right? It really was a call to go back to some of the ancient ways, but they don't really need to go, we don't have to go backwards. We just have to remember them because they're still such a natural part of us, and we just have not recognized that. So when you take a look at how oysters grow, they grow in big clusters. And if you've never had to shuck an oyster out of a cluster, Lordy be, y'all. I've been to more oyster shucks and clam bakes in my life, well, when I ate meat, than the man in the moon. And it's hard. It's hard. But what is that these little bastards, they stick together like nobody's business. So when anybody's ever talking about family, I love to bring up oysters because, my God, when they cluster together, you just can't hardly get them apart. And I think for families, in ancient times, even leading up to the Middle Ages and whatnot, family and loyalty and fidelity was no joke. Today, I would venture to say that, maybe the advent and rise of plastic and the throwaway society that we have has certainly led to a wave of people who may not, they may think they mean what they say when it comes to, I'm loyal to family and family is everything, family first, yak, yak, yak. But when they're under pressure and push comes to shove, what does that really mean? Now, You may know people like this. You may be a person like this yourself. Maybe you've recently had your loyalty tested. I did. I had a business thing go on just recently that I really put my loyalty to a good friend to the test. And it cost me. Oh, yes, it cost me. But I stood my ground and I was loyal and I did the right thing. And you know what? I'm glad for it. I'm grateful for it. And in this particular instance, I had to stop and I had to think for a minute what I wanted to do. And then I was like, Bernadette came. I heard my mom's voice. She was like, Bernadette. And when she said that, I was like, well, when I heard her say that in my psychic mind, I was like, I don't even, we're done here. And I did the loyal thing. And so I'm not saying you should be like me, and I'm not saying my choices are the best choices. What I'm saying is that potentially you might be being faced with a situation where all the family has to band together. Now, that could be something as benign as, where do we go on family vacation this year, you guys? But, you know, if you've ever been to a family dinner, like a Yule, a Christmas, a Thanksgiving, a Kwanzaa, you know, whatever it is you celebrate, you know, during the holidays that are very hectic and very self-pressurized, that stuff can explode. People say things they don't think, they don't mean, they don't, you know. And so it could be something as benign as that, or like my family last year, they decided to rally around me. I almost died last year. I was very, very ill. And man, my family, they were like soldiers. They were standing at my doorstep at the ready. Anything I needed, anything I wanted, things I didn't even think I know I needed and wanted. And it, you know, it caused them all kinds of discombobulation to their own schedules, to their own lives. And I'm very, very fortunate to have a family like that. We have family that would literally take a bullet for each other. And again, it doesn't have to be as drastic as that. It can be, you know, just listen, do anything you can to avoid the kerfuffle over what movie to go to on Friday night, or what kind of popcorn to pop on Friday night or Saturday night or whatever, because those little things add up and they make big things, right? Okay. So when we take a look at spirit, the spirit, totem, and power animal aspect of an oyster, it, I have, I have gotten more emails about why an oyster is considered a spirit, totem, and power animal. I'm like, well, so is a centaur, and so is a minotaur, and so is, you know, a triceratops, and so is a stegosaurus. Whether it's an animal that people have created in their own mind, any living thing that's considered in the animal kingdom can be a spirit animal, including humans. And so if oyster has come to you today as a spirit animal, and the difference between spirit, totem, and power animals is described in depth in a video, the link to that is below in the notes. I really encourage you to read it. It'll give you a really fresh perspective. It's a brand new way that the animals downloaded into me about working with their energy and medicine. It's getting amazing results with my clients and my students. And so if oyster has come to you today on this Saturday as a spirit animal, I implore you, your animal spirit guides are begging you to know that this is the moment, right now in this moment, while you're watching this video, please, please recognize what a rare and true beauty you are. Don't hide your light from the world. Don't dull your own luster. Shine into the world whatever you want to shine. That can be on, maybe you don't say 2 words to people, maybe you're an introvert, okay, but in the way that you wish, in the way that you want, just allow whoever you are, that iridescence, to just sparkle out from you. But most importantly, to realize that you are beautiful, that you are beautiful, no matter what pressures you're under, no matter what irritants are in your life, no matter how much the waves are crashing up against you, you're carrying your true beauty everywhere you go. If oyster now is coming to you as your totem animal, I love this. I love you, oyster people. It's who you are, and I admire you because, you know, as those of us that walk along the spiritual path start to identify shadow aspects of ourselves, one of my shadow aspects is I'm quick to judgment. Now, I would like to say I'm quick to discernment, but between the psychic self and the Bernadette self, I can never really be 100% sure when I meet someone, a situation, that I'm not like judging, or am I seeing, or what I am. So I work really hard on that. But to you oyster people, you never judge a book by its cover. Because think about it. On the outside, before an oyster, you get all the gunk off of them. Oyster shells are really not the most beautiful shells, and they're dangerous. They're sharp as bejeebers, y'all. My God, I can't tell you how many times I cut myself on an oyster shell. Growing up in Florida, right? Okay, so um, it's it's just they're just a hot mess on the outside, to our judgment, and on the inside they have these really beautiful pearls. A lot of them, not all of them, but you know, a lot of them do. And so you just, man, you just never judge a book by its cover. You wait for the beauty to reveal itself. You've got the patience and the stamina to do that. I love you. Thank you for what thank you for what you bring to the world and teach those of us that are not quite as maybe enlightened as you are in that area. Okay, so if you are invoking um, oyster as your power animal, you're probably like, Bernadette, how can an oyster be a power animal? It's just a little bitty old crustacean that people pop open and eat with horseradish and cocktail sauce and some saltines with ice cold beer, because that's the only way they're any good. Um, well, that's not true. Oysters Rockefeller's pretty good. So when I used to eat meat. So anyway, you know, here's the thing. Oyster can be an amazing power animal. Do you know what it takes to withstand the irritants and the currents of the ocean and glom together like that so that you're stable and you're solid and you don't get toted off to Never Never Land? You know, under the sea, take it from me. I mean, the sea and the oceans get real deep, y'all. And oysters, they're not that deep. They're kind of in the shallow areas. So that said, when you want to reignite passions in your life, that's when you call on oyster as your power animal. Now, if you take a look at Greek mythology or Roman mythology, which I do a lot when I'm researching, you know, the meanings of spirit totem and power animals, if you go all the way back to the Grecian and Roman times, some think oysters were a gift from Aphrodite, the goddess of love, very specifically to help our inner fires. And in the Celtic tradition, they associate oysters with the sea goddess, who has really strong connections to lunar energies, the moon. And so overall, it's about that hidden romance, you know, that beautiful oyster tucked up in there under that shell. It's about gorgeous moon energies, you know, all the romance that the moon and the beaches bring us. Because you'll never have a better making out session than in the moonlight on a beach, just saying. And with a bonfire, just saying. And so when you need to I don't know, reemerge, reawaken, ignite passions, romance, being able to see the beauty, being able to sparkle and shine in that arena, knowing that you are beautiful to someone in that arena, and allowing other people to through you see their own beauty reflected in your eyes or in your spirit. It's such a great gift. And what's more powerful than that, right? So I hope this has been helpful to you. I thank you so much for tuning in. Please be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you get the daily readings and all the other, oh my gosh, you guys, I do videos about chakras and auras and zodiac signs and anything having to do with animals and helping you strengthen and deepen your connection and unite with your spirit totem and power animals. And make sure you get a copy of the Arc Animal Tarot and Oracle deck. It's the most comprehensive animal deck on the market. There are 100 animals in that deck, 49 available. Sorry, y'all, it's my dog Hops. She loves them too. She loves the Arc too. She's a great tarot reader. Just get those, but the most important thing is to what? To stay wild.